Scarface, 1983, left a lasting mark on audiences with its breathtaking confrontations, including the unforgettable appearance of Robert Loggia as the drug lord Frank Lopez. But 42 years later, Robert Loggia, Paul Shaar, and Alejandro Salazar have all passed away under tragic circumstances, from Alzheimer's and AIDS to addiction. What secrets lay hidden behind the glamour? Join us as we explore and honor their legacies. Let's go. Robert Loggia as Frank Lopez. Robert Loggia was born on January 3, 1930, in Staten Island, New York. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 53 years old, playing Frank Lopez, a powerful drug kingpin and Tony Montana's rival, appearing in several key scenes, especially during tense showdowns with Al Pacino's character. The role of Frank Lopez left a deep impression on moviegoers, helping to give weight to a film that is now considered a Hollywood classic. Throughout a career spanning more than 6 decades, Robert Loggia appeared in a host of famous films and television series, from An Officer and a Gentleman and Jagged Edge to Big and Independence Day. He was highly regarded for the diversity of his roles and his ability to portray both villains and heroes. Yet behind the spotlight, his personal life was far from smooth. His first marriage to Della Marjorie Sloan lasted from 1954 to 1981, nearly 3 decades together, but ending in heartbreak. The marriage was turbulent as Loggia's career rose and fell, with frequent trips, work pressures, and fame gradually creating distance between them. Although they had 3 children together, the cracks in their relationship eventually became irreparable. After the divorce, Loggia's personal life entered a lonely, uncertain chapter. It was during this difficult time that he met Audrey O'Brien, the woman who helped him through his midlife crisis and lifted his spirits. Audrey became not only his emotional anchor, but also a devoted companion who helped him regain confidence after years of professional ups and downs. They married in 1982, just 1 year after his divorce, and stayed together for over 3 decades until the end of his life. Loggia often spoke of Audrey with deep gratitude in interviews, describing their bond as his peaceful harbor. In his final years, Loggia faced enormous hardship after being diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in 2010. The cruel illness gradually stole his memory, clarity, and the pride he had built through decades in front of the camera. From a strong, decisive man, Loggia became increasingly withdrawn, stepping away from the spotlight as his body and mind declined. Audrey stood by him, caring for him with unwavering dedication, becoming his rock when the lights of fame had long faded. Robert Loggia passed away on December 4, 2015, at his home in Brentwood, Los Angeles, from complications related to Alzheimer's disease. He was 85 years old. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $10 million, the result of over 60 years devoted to his art. Paul Shaar as Alejandro Sosa. Albert Paul Shaar was born on February 12, 1936, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 47 years old, portraying Alejandro Sosa, a cold, powerful Colombian drug lord and calculating villain, seen in crucial scenes involving tense deals and escalating conflict with Tony Montana. Shaar's performance as Sosa left a powerful impression, thanks to his calm, ruthless, and cunning demeanor that played a vital role in the film's impact. Before reaching the height of fame with Scarface, Paul Shaar was already a respected figure on stage and television. He was one of the founding members of the American Conservatory Theater, ACT, where he lived out his passion through more than 40 classic roles. During the vibrant years of his career, Shaar also had a deep and meaningful relationship with actor Jeremy Brett. Their love lasted from 1973 to 1978, leaving behind unforgettable memories for Shaar even as they eventually chose separate paths. The two remained connected by friendship and mutual respect until Shaar's final days. Yet behind the bright lights of stage and screen, Paul Shaar quietly battled inner struggles. Though intelligent and talented, he lived under the weight of societal prejudice of the time, especially as a member of the LGBT community. He never married or had children, devoting his heart entirely to his art. After Scarface, he continued to land impressive roles, but deep down, Shaar increasingly felt lonely and adrift amid the very fame he had built. In 1983, at the peak of his career, fate dealt him a cruel hand. Paul Shaar was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. He passed away on October 11, 1989, at the age of 53. His ashes were entrusted to his close friend Thomas Wiley, a testament to the enduring bond between two people who shared the journey through Shaar's final chapter. His net worth at the time was estimated at about $2 million. Harris Yulan as Mel Bernstein. Harris Yulan was born on November 5, 1937, in Los Angeles. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 46 years old and played Mel Bernstein, a corrupt cop who tries to extort Tony Montana and appears in key scenes that highlight the intense conflict between them. His role helped to depict the scheming and brutal underworld that Scarface brought to life, leaving a lasting impression on movie audiences. Throughout his career, Yulan was a familiar face in more than 100 roles across stage, television, and film. He captivated viewers with his diverse performances in Ghostbusters 2, Clear and Present Danger, Training Day, and the series Ozark. His personal life also saw its share of upheavals. He had a well-known relationship with Faye Dunaway, but it ended in turmoil after just 1 year together. In 1975, he married actress Gwen Wells, who stood by him for nearly 2 decades until her passing from cancer in 1993, leaving Yulan with profound grief and a void that was difficult to fill. Years after that painful loss, Yulan found companionship and understanding with actress Kristen Lohman, and they married in 2005. However, his relationship with his stepdaughter, Claire Lucido, was not always smooth, and her death in 2021 deepened Yulan's quiet, withdrawn nature. He faced periods of depression and isolation, particularly as his steady, admirable career did not quite reach the pinnacle he had once dreamed of. Harris Yulan passed away from cardiac arrest in New York City on June 10, 2025, at the age of 87. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $4 million, but the legacy he left behind far exceeded material value. Ángel Salazar as Chichi. Ángel Salazar was born on March 2, 1956, in Cuba. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 27 years old and played Chichi, a loyal friend to Tony Montana who brought a touch of humor to the film's dark world, standing out especially in the harrowing chainsaw scene and the blood-soaked final battle at Tony's mansion. This role made Salazar a familiar face to fans of Scarface. Salazar's life, much like his character Chichi, was a journey filled with ups and downs. As a teenager, he escaped Cuba by swimming to the Guantanamo Bay Naval Base, starting over from nothing in New York. From amateur comedy shows where his catchphrase, "Check it out," became known, he gradually carved out a space for himself in entertainment. After Scarface, Salazar appeared in Punchline, 1988, Carlito's Way, 1993, HBO comedy specials, and Last Comic Standing. Yet, despite his talent and stage charisma, he never truly escaped Chichi's shadow or reached the level of stardom he had once dreamed of. Behind the stage lights, Salazar faced personal tragedies just as dark. He became trapped in addiction, especially to cocaine, which wrecked both his career and personal life. Failed relationships, mounting debts, and ongoing financial instability kept him from achieving a steady existence, though he continued performing stand-up comedy until the end of his life. His final show at the Laugh Factory in Reno, Nevada in July 2024, just a month before his death, stood as proof of his enduring love for his craft despite the hardships. Ángel Salazar died on August 11, 2024, at a friend's home in Brooklyn at the age of 68. His death was ruled as acute drug intoxication from a combination of cocaine, cyclobenzaprine, and diphenhydramine, alongside an underlying enlarged heart condition. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $1 million, much of it depleted by years of financial struggle. Miriam Colon as Mama Montana. Miriam Colon was born on August 20th, 1936, in Ponce, Puerto Rico. When she appeared in Scarface in 1983, she was 47 years old and played Mama Montana, a loving mother tormented by the criminal path her son Tony Montana chose. Every time Mama Montana appeared on screen, she left a strong impression, embodying both compassion and the moral conscience Tony could no longer hold on to. Behind her powerful and successful performances on stage and screen, Colon's life was filled with quiet sorrow. Her first marriage to George Paul Edgar, lasting from 1966 to 1976, seemed to promise happiness, but ended in devastating loss when Edgar died after a long illness. His passing plunged Colon into lonely days, battling isolation even as her career flourished. At the time, even while enjoying success in projects like One Life to Live, she felt that each night returning home was a silent struggle within herself. In 1987, hoping to find peace, Colon remarried, this time to Fred Valle. But even this marriage did not bring complete happiness. Irreconcilable differences, combined with work pressures and the weight of past emotional wounds, made their relationship tense. She immersed herself in her art, building her reputation through roles in the House of the Spirits and on Broadway. But behind the applause was a lingering sense of loneliness. Her emotional pain deepened further when she lost a close family member to illness, a tragedy she rarely spoke of publicly, but which left a gap in her heart that was hard to fill. These losses, along with ongoing tensions in her private life, meant that no matter how successful she became, she could never quite find true peace. She endured periods of despair when the stage lights faded and she found herself alone in a room full of mementos from her glorious past. Miriam Colon died on March 3, 2017, in New York City due to complications from a lung infection. She was 80 years old. Her net worth at the time of her death was estimated at around $5 million, but her most valuable legacy was a life dedicated to the arts. Margolus as Alberto, the Shadow. Margolus was born on November 26, 1939, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 44 years old and played Alberto, the Shadow, a silent, cold-blooded, and powerful assassin working for Alejandro Sosa, featured intense action scenes, including the iconic assassination plot that Tony Montana stopped at the last moment. Although his role had few lines, audiences could never forget Margolis's deadly gaze and menacing presence. Behind a career marked by outstanding performances in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and Darren Aronofsky films like Requiem for a Dream, Margolis's life was far from easy. He married Jacqueline Margolus in 1962, a strong marriage but one filled with challenges, especially in the early years when both struggled financially. They lived in run-down New York apartments, barely managing rent with the small roles Margolus landed in off-Broadway productions. The worries didn't end there. Their only son, Morgan Margolus, went through a turbulent youth that included a period of addiction, causing immense strain on the family. Margolus found himself trying to hold on to a faltering career while also serving as the rock for his loved ones during these storms. He endured years of depression and a sense of being forgotten by Hollywood, particularly as his acting opportunities dwindled, until the role of Hector Salamanca in Breaking Bad revived his reputation and passion for acting. In his later years, even as his career was reborn and celebrated with an Emmy nomination and the affection of fans, Margolus still carried deep scars from the many challenges he had faced. He died on August 3, 2023, at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City after a brief illness. He was 83 years old. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $2.5 million, a modest sum compared to the breadth of his career. Al Israel as Hector the Toad. Al Israel was born on April 16, 1935, in the United States. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 48 years old and played Hector the Toad, a ruthless Colombian criminal behind the notorious chainsaw scene that still chills audiences to this day. Though his screen time was brief, Israel's portrayal of Hector the Toad left a powerful mark, becoming one of the film's most memorable images. After Scarface, Al Israel appeared in a few more films, such as Carlito's Way and Dangerous Minds, but his career largely consisted of minor supporting roles that were seldom highlighted. Beyond the spotlight, his personal life was marked by hardship. His only marriage ended after years of tension, leaving Israel to shoulder the responsibilities of single fatherhood. Financial burdens, combined with the pressure of raising a child, made it hard for him to maintain stability, as his career never provided the security he had hoped for. In his final years, Al Israel faced serious health issues that he never publicly discussed, but which quietly robbed him of his freedom and joy. He lived in increasing solitude, further and further removed from the brief fame he once knew. All his efforts in the industry could not ease the regret of never achieving personal happiness or the career heights he had longed for. Al Israel died on March 16, 2011, at the age of 75. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $500,000, reflecting a modest career shaped by perseverance through many trials. Richard Belzer as MC at Babylon Club. Richard Belzer was born on August 4, 1944, in Bridgeport, Connecticut. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 39 years old and played the MC at Babylon Club, a small but memorable role that added energy and a touch of subtle satire to the film's wild party scenes. Though his appearance was brief, Belzer left an impression with his trademark humor and charm, adding a unique splash of color to Scarface's grim world of crime. Outside the spotlight and his major success as John Munch on Law & Order, SVU, Belzer's life carried a shadow of tragedy. In his youth, he suffered the devastating loss of his sister in a car accident, a grief that haunted him throughout his life and filled his soul with a sorrow he could never quite shake. His first marriage to Gail Susan Ross, 1966 to 1972, seemed at first to offer happiness, but ended amid arguments and deep wounds, leaving Belzer with broken trust and lasting loneliness. In the early years of his career, despite his sharp wit and promise as a comic, Belzer struggled with the darkness of substance abuse, seeking escape in intoxication and temptation. Depression crept in, drawing him further from the spotlight as he retreated into private anguish that only he fully understood. Every successful role, every laugh he drew from audiences was another attempt to mask the emotional scars that never healed. Richard Belzer died on February 19, 2023, in Beausoul's, France, from complications of a respiratory condition. He was 78 years old. His net worth at the time of his death was estimated at around $16 million, the reward for a steadfast career in Law & Order, comedy, and books that bore his personal imprint. Victor Campos as Ronnie Echevarria. Victor Campos was born on January 15, 1935, in New York City. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 48 years old and played Ronnie Echevarria, a loyal ally within Tony Montana's gang, featured in scenes involving criminal operations and underground dealings. Though a supporting role, Ronnie Echevarria helped deepen the dark and ruthless criminal world that Scarface portrayed. Off-screen, Victor Campos's life was marked by silent pain and tragedy. Despite a promising start with his role as Rudy DeVillo in Cades County, his career gradually faded into obscurity, consisting mostly of minor parts in The A-Team, Murder, She Wrote, and a few lesser-known films. Campos battled alcohol and drug addiction for many years, which ravaged not only his health, but also his family happiness. His only marriage ended in collapse, leaving a fractured relationship with the two children he had once loved deeply, but could not fully fulfill his role as a father. In his final years, Campos faced deepening loneliness as he fought prostate cancer, a struggle that drained him both physically and emotionally. Once a strong boxer, he had to quietly accept the silent destruction of illness. His dreams of a shining career and a complete family gradually closed in regret and solitude. Victor Campos died on December 4, 2018, in Sherman Oaks, California, at the age of 83. He passed away quietly, leaving behind a modest legacy with a net worth estimated at around $300,000, a figure reflecting the life of an artist who gave much effort but knew little glory, forever grappling with inner battles that never truly healed. John Brandon as Immigration Officer Number 3. John Brandon was born on June 21, 1929, in Rego Park, New York. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 54 years old and played Immigration Officer Number 3, a small role in the film's opening scene, where he appeared stern and represented the cold, unyielding force of U.S. immigration authorities in the face of the Cuban refugee wave, including Tony Montana. Though fleeting on screen, Brandon's performance helped set the tense, fateful tone of the film's opening moments. Beyond Scarface, John Brandon appeared in films such as Serpico and The Brink's Job, as well as numerous popular TV series. But behind these roles lay a life of storms and loneliness. Brandon endured multiple failed marriages, each one chipping away at his faith in love and leaving him increasingly distant from the children he had once cherished. As family ties fractured, he gradually withdrew into isolation, as the stage lights that once shone on him grew dim. In his later years, Brandon struggled with financial hardship. Despite decades dedicated to the arts, his supporting roles never provided the stable income he needed. Depression weighed heavily on him, as his career never achieved the recognition he had long hoped for. His declining health, marked by undisclosed complications, added to his exhaustion, leaving him to spend his final years on the margins of Hollywood, filled with regret and quiet sorrow. John Brandon died on August 25, 2014, in Middle Village, New York, at the age of 85. His net worth at the time was estimated at around $200,000, a humble sum for a life devoted to the craft of acting. John Carter as Vic Phillips. John Carter was born on November 26, 1927, in Center Ridge, Arkansas. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 56 years old and played Vic Phillips, a cold and sharp criminal operations manager who appeared in a few brief scenes but helped paint the brutal underworld depicted in the film. Although a minor role, Carter left a mark with his composed performance and powerful presence. After Scarface and films like Badlands and The Hoax, Carter's life was weighed down by private sorrows that never fully healed. The greatest tragedy he bore was the death of his son from a drug overdose, a blow that plunged him into deep depression. Unable to find a way out, Carter turned increasingly to alcohol, using it to numb his grief but ultimately allowing it to destroy what remained of his personal life. The two marriages in which he had placed his hopes both ended in divorce, leaving scars that never mended. His relationships with his surviving children grew increasingly distant as he struggled to maintain his role as a father while caught in his own storm. Despite years of dedication to the arts, with countless supporting roles on film and television, Carter remained forever at arm's length from the success he had once dreamed of. John Carter died on May 23, 2015, of pneumonia at the age of 87. He passed away quietly, in solitude, leaving behind a modest career and a net worth estimated at around $400,000, a figure that reflects the life of an artist who was dedicated but forever overshadowed by personal tragedy. Mario Machado as interviewer. Mario Machado was born on April 22, 1935, in Shanghai, China. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 48 years old and played the interviewer, a small but refined role that brought a rare moment of calm amid the chaos of the film's criminal world. Among the gunfire and bloody plots, Machado's composed interviewer offered viewers a brief pause before the storm of violence resumed. Off-screen, Mario Machado's life was a series of ups and downs that words can scarcely capture. Although he gained recognition for his role as Casey Wong in RoboCop and appeared in Rocky III, most of his career was overshadowed by minor roles that never quite cemented his name in the acting world. The unnamed pressures of unstable work and the harsh realities of the entertainment industry seeped into his personal life, contributing to the collapse of both marriages in which he had placed such hope. After those breakups, Machado gradually became estranged from his children, those he had once dreamed of providing a full and happy life for, but could not keep close. That emptiness weighed even heavier as he battled severe pneumonia in his later years. With his health failing and the stage lights fading, Machado spent his final days in loneliness, filled with regret for a journey that could have shone brighter. Mario Machado died on May 4, 2013 in West Hills, California at the age of 78. His net worth was estimated at around $1 million, earned largely through his broadcasting career and those quiet, enduring performances that left their mark on those who admired him as a symbol of perseverance and dedication. Roberto Contras as Emilio Rebenga. Roberto Contras was born on December 12, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri, into a family of artists. He was the son of director Jaime Contras. When he appeared in Scarface in 1983, he was 55 years old and played Emilio Rebenga, a man assassinated by Tony Montana in the film's opening scene, setting the tone for Tony's cold brutality from the very start. Though his appearance was brief, Rebenga's gruesome end haunted viewers and added to the film's dark, violent atmosphere. Behind the screen, Roberto Contras' life was one of prolonged tragedy. He made his mark in minor roles in films such as The Big Fix and Black Samurai, but over nearly 40 years in the business, he remained trapped in supporting parts, unable to rise from the shadows of obscurity. Tormented by unmet career expectations, Contras turned to alcohol for temporary escape, only to sink deeper into depression. Both of his marriages ended in divorce, leaving him with emotional wounds that never healed. He grew distant from his children, including Luis Contras, the son who followed in his footsteps into acting. In his later years, Roberto Contras was in and out of rehab, battling his inner demons but never truly finding redemption. Roberto Contras died on July 18, 2000, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 71. He left behind a modest career with a net worth estimated at only around $200,000. From the glory of Scarface to the real-life tragedies that followed, the fate of the cast leaves us stunned. Who among them left the most unforgettable legacy? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss more powerful stories from the world of cinema.